Good morning to you, good morning. Saturday, the 5th of August 2023. 5th of August, what should we do this morning? Well, this weather, according to the forecast, this is sort of what we've got for the day. Neither rain nor dry, not particularly hot. But it's not a day for getting excited about mixing stuff and patching walls and such likes. What it is a day for, some of you will remember, we looked at some announcements as to what's happening today, and there's a Brocante in the town of Preuilly sur Claise. So I guess the thing to do is to quickly take a shower, put on some clean clothes and go to Preuilly. Right, hands up who wants to come. And if we're going to Preuilly, we're going a different way out of town. This road is the Abbey road, and if I was going to London I would turn right. Well, I'm not going to London. And I'm not going to Châtellerault. We're going to Preuilly sur Claise. What's over this hill? Technically we're already in Preuilly, we're in the commune of Preuilly, but obviously not yet the town. If any of you want to buy a new or fairly new car, on the left is a car dealership. I think they sell Renault. Preuilly suffers with traffic. This is quite a major route, and all the big lorries use this road, and people aren't particularly happy with that because the town itself was just simply not built for big lorries. want to buy a house here, there's a house for sale. And I'm following signs with a letter P on them to see if we can find somewhere to park. This will do. And this is the River Claise. Isn't that lovely? But this isn't the Brocante, which is what we've come to see. And while we're here, I thought we'd just take a look at this dear little car. I don't know what it is, I suppose. Oh, on the front it tells us. It is a Renault. But isn't that rather lovely? I thought some of you would like that. But this is what we've come to see. We've come to look at a lot of other people's rubbish that rather than throw away, they're going to display for sale. And we're going to rummage around and look at some of that rubbish, and who knows, some of it we might decide it is treasure. We might not. Of course, getting here moderately early means that the bargains will still be there, but they will charge the right price for them. That's the trade-off. If you get here early, people won't accept offers because they've got all day that they might get a better offer. If you get here late, the good stuff's gone. But look at that good stuff. Garlic cloves. Right, well, I'm going to do some serious looking. Well, I've walked all round and I had a specific want, which, okay, yeah, all right, the carburettor for a Briggs & Stratton lawnmower. That's what I specifically was looking for, and funnily enough, there isn't one. So now we're going to have another little walk round and just see if there's anything that speaks to me that might just be interesting. Brocantes like this one are a mixture of professional traders and local people, and you tend to see the same stuff at every one you go to. Partly because the professional traders go to all of them, and of course partly because the professional traders will buy stuff from each other and then try and sell it for more at the next one. The local folk that turn up just once a year, their stuff is generally more interesting. You know, they're selling things to get rid of it rather than to make a living. That's funny, the sound system stopped. It's nice in silence, isn't it? And there's this wonderful sort of juxtaposition of useful stuff for every day and then stuff to, well, I suppose you put it in your cupboard until you're bored with things, you know, and dig things out and read them. Does anybody need a catalogue of pieces for diesel tractors? Are there any strange people living in Georgia who need a blade for a chainsaw? Yes, well, we won't be buying any parts lists for tractors. Obviously a professional dealer, shall we say, and, well, yeah. Yes, well, I've just spent money. I bought a dictionary. We'll look at it when I get home. It's got words in it. I expect you all want me to buy that little engine, but I haven't got a use for a little engine. Okay, well, I've actually looked at everything that I want to look at. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to walk into town and we'll do some touristy sort of stuff. Because the town is actually very, very pretty. Well, that gorgeous little Renault has gone, but look at this. Now, we know that it's a Citroën. Citroën. And we know that it's a traction avant. That means it's front wheel drive. What I'm not sure about is exactly what model it is. Is it a Léger 15? But what a beautiful, beautiful car. Now, what they very quickly worked out by having front wheel drive, you don't need all of that transmission tunnel nonsense. So you can have a small but very spacious car. But isn't that absolutely gorgeous? And as I was walking along this pavement, I just thought, well, yeah, we know how to do that now, don't we? Now, for those of you that don't like Brocantes and don't like old cars, let us have a look at the Abbey Church of St. Peter. I guess everybody has heard of St. Peter. You know, you might think of him as the keeper of the keys, or some of you might think he's the guy that's going to be standing at the pearly gates. St. Peter, Simon the fisherman. Anyway, this church is dedicated to him, and it has wonderful flying buttresses. Isn't that just gorgeous? This little camera doesn't really capture a building the size of this, but when we look up the tower, I don't know if it's light enough to see the tiles on the tower, red and green. Whoever did that knew how to make something beautiful. Let us see if the door is open. Now, all the Catholics amongst you will know that if the door is open, when we go in, we will cross ourselves. If the piscine, if the little thing has got water in it, we will touch our fingers in the holy water. And the first thing in churches is always the baptismal font. And it's just inside the door to remind us that we enter the church through baptism. But it's dry as a bone. This is one of the things, after the start of COVID, a lot of these things were stopped. You know, the idea of something that everybody puts their fingers in and touches their foreheads with and all that sort of thing. So sadly, we can't bless ourselves with holy water. And that's the sort of pulpit that we could do within every church, isn't it? We can imagine a priest preaching his sermons from that wonderful pulpit. Pupitre. And an abbey church like this will have lots of altars. And this is actually quite a lovely one. In the middle is a carving of Mary, the Blessed Virgin Mary, with the infant Christ sat on her lap. And on top of the altar is a tabernacle. And we might imagine a priest serving a private mass in a small chapel like this. I wonder what he would preach. I can think of one priest who would try to include words in his sermon. He'd probably use words like gremlin or patriots. Yeah, I can think of one priest who would do that. With the bishop looking down on him. Now, if we're lucky, no, there's no name on the statue. I should probably know who this bishop is. I don't. In this chapel is another altar with the sanctuary lamp burning. And some of you will know that that indicates that this is where the reserved sacrament is, the reserved host in the tabernacle. And Catholic teaching is that the reserved host is not just a disc of bread, but is the body of Christ. And those of you that feel a need may use the little Preuilly Dieu. We may choose to light a candle. And in case you've forgotten, we're in France, so of course there is a statue of St. Joan, you know, Joan of Arc. Well, I hope you all feel fortified by that. You know, every time you see a church, pop in and pay a visit, so that when they carry you in, the Lord won't say, "Who is it?" Right, the next thing to do is to walk back to the car and to head home without getting run over. It's all very well obtaining a state of grace, but that doesn't mean that you should go out and join your maker immediately thereafter. Now all I need to do is remember where I left the car. Well, I realise that if you've sat this far through the video, all you really want to know is what old toot have I brought home. Let's have a look. Well, a book. Yes, a book. Not a very new book. That could be useful, couldn't it? It's got words in it. But it's also got pictures. That's all good stuff, isn't it? Lots of pictures, lots of words. Oh look, how to lay bricks, that's useful. I wonder if it's got a date in it. Well, it follows a law passed in 1858. There we are, there's the date, 1860. Yeah, that should be interesting. But what is all this stuff? Yeah, that will be useful. And boy, could I have done with this before I started lifting beams. You'll know what that is. You know, it's a different people call it different things. We'll stick with blocks and tackle. Some of the string looks a bit suspect, but yeah, that is going to find work as, well, I don't know yet. Generally useful sort of lifting gear.